What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and we need to talk about IRNT Stock, ticker symbol IRNT. This stock just blew up in the pre-market and after hours yesterday. Let's take a look. It's actually been doing pretty well over the past while, but just today, it hit highs of $60 in the pre-market, and now it's sitting around 38. We ended up fading away before the open of the market and have just kind of been trading in this 37 to 43 or $45 range right here for most of the day. Now, there are a couple of catalysts that's blowing this thing up and a couple of key support and resistance levels and things that we can analyze from a technical analysis standpoint. So let's first of all take a look at what's been going on with this over the past 90 or maybe 30 days would be better. Yeah, you can see that this thing was a SPAC. It started at $10 and has been pretty volatile since and has actually had a couple big run-ups. And this is just the latest of one of those run-ups. Now, people are wondering if this is going to continue, if we're going to keep seeing this thing follow the same pattern, right, where it shoots up, wanes a little bit, and then shoots up to new higher highs. Now, there is a real possibility for that. And what I will point out about today specifically is that if you are buying right now, you may want to watch out a little bit. You may want to look for a important resistance or support level to buy in around, because in the past we have seen a similar pattern where we pump up in the pre-market and after hours. We pump up and make these highs and then end up fading away throughout the day and end up consolidating actually around a certain area for a while. So if you're willing to hold this for a while, then potentially this $36 level may actually be a good spot to do it, because it looks like this was the last real resistance level that we had that we couldn't break past during our previous pump up, and has since acted as a support level a couple of times. You can see here when we first started breaking through it, we ended up breaking through and then testing this $36 very important level right here, and then here again, and that ended up leading us higher. Now, we haven't actually touched it since we've gotten very close, but it looks like it's acting as a somewhat strong support, and we're going to have to see if that holds throughout the day. Now, as for why IRNT is pumping, there are a couple of reasons. The first main reason that we're going to talk about is they did have their earnings call. You can see on the chart right here, about 2 days ago, they were doing their earnings, and it was actually a pretty positive earnings call. Now, this isn't justifying the actual pump itself, but it is a catalyst that began sparking. You can see they got 24.1 million compared to 19.5 million in annual recurring revenue. That was a pretty good increase year over year, and their customer count did more than double from 51 all the way from 22. So, these are like good numbers, but obviously it doesn't justify the dramatic increase in stock price that we've seen since then, because it was around $22 and now it's at 38, and it was hitting 60. So that's much more than you would expect from just a pump up because of an earnings call. So what we can glean on Ortex is that this is a somewhat tough mover, and that obviously institutional buyers, big whales, are involved in this, because the market cap is $2.71 billion. And that's the price, or that's the market cap when this thing is at $38. So, if you have that even, and back to what this was a couple days ago, when it was around 19, that was about half. So that would still be over $1 billion market cap. So it's obviously not retail just doing this. And you can actually tell it's not just retail doing it by looking at Ape Wisdom, which tracks trending stocks on Reddit, and trying to look for IRNT. You can see there are no results for it, at least not in the top 100 stocks that they have. And you can go pages back, but I didn't want to actually find where it listed on this, because as you get lower, you can actually see there are very few mentions, and it's not even worth really looking at if it's not on the front page. So I didn't want to look at that, but you might be able to find it there. It might be on Reddit. Someone may have posted about it at some point. What I do want to point out is this Google Trends graph. This is tracking IRNT over the past 7 days. Now, this blip on the graph is kind of annoying. It's, I think, just a glitch in Google's system, and it's actually making the whole graph get squished down quite a bit. So try to ignore this big blip and just look at the rest of the graph, how it's actually grown. It doesn't look nearly as impressive as it should if this big blip wasn't here, so just kind of ignore that. But you can see that we were down, trading around a trend of 3 or 4, and even at the highs of 12, we still weren't as high as we are just today at 20, which I really expect this would have gotten a score of 100 for how this ranked in search results if this big blip weren't here. It's really annoying, and it's kind of throwing off the whole graph. But you can see that we have been trending up on Google. More and more people are talking about this stock, and that's part of the reason why it's pumping up so much, because so many people are getting involved. You can see massive volume yesterday after earnings, and even today, we're making higher highs volume-wise in a single hour than we ever have before. The previous high was about 8.2 million shares traded over the course of 30 minutes, and now we have 9.49 million shares traded over the course of 30 minutes. So obviously more people are taking interest in this stock. It's getting a lot more attention as it has pumped up a bit, and we're going to have to see what happens with it because, as I pointed out earlier, there has been a pattern where we've pumped up in pre and after market hours and then pumped down during the day. Now, that hasn't always been the case. So there have been times actually when you could look at this. And just looking at this graph, you may have assumed like, oh, we're pumping up in pre-market and then we're going to dump as soon as trading starts, when that actually wasn't the case. We ended up rising quite a bit and continuing this run up. And now here we are today, right, at a much higher price. So that pattern hasn't always held true, but it has been the case some of the time. Now, what I expect with IRNT is that eventually, yes, I think this stock will drop because the earnings call didn't quite justify this high of a stock price. It may be indicated like a 10 to 20% boost, but we're seeing a 20% boost just today after an already massive gain yesterday. So I do think that we are due for a correction on a fundamental level at some point. Do I think that point is happening yet? Well, I think that's going to base itself off of this $36 resistance level or support level, which has acted as a resistance in the past. I think that this is probably going to be an important point, and that's what I'll be looking to kind of indicate to me if this stock is done, if it's going to just keep dropping, or if it's going to potentially continue consolidating at 36, maybe a little bit above, and maybe do another run up in the future. We're really going to have to keep a watch out for that because, as you can see, it's obvious that whales are involved in this. And I will point out the short interest in this stock has actually increased fairly recently. Today we're down a little bit. Some shorts are covering because, yeah, we're down or we're up quite a bit. But if you look at this chart of the short interest compared against the stock price, you can see that not many people were shorting this stock because it was justified as a company, right, at these lower prices. However, more recently, we have been shooting up in price, and some people have been taking that as an opportunity, essentially, to be shorting this and potentially be making some money, and likely will be as long as they don't get squeezed out before then, if they can just hold this thing long enough. However, some people were forced to cover today. You see the short interest is down about 3% on the day as some people were forced to cover into this massive rally. Now, do I think that's going to hold? Well, obviously, if you're looking at this graph, you can see that we are trending downwards. I'm really curious to see what happens when we start testing the $36 level, and that's what I'll be looking out for. But it is worth noting that now we have a 12% short interest, so this could become a short play in the future if more shorts get involved in this. If more shorts think this is a great opportunity, they may wait for it to get a little bit higher before they start shorting because they are somewhat scared, is my expectation. I think that they're a little scared of this after seeing this thing hit $60 in the pre-market. That's a pretty high, and that would hurt a lot of shorts if they got involved. Even now, below $40, we would be up 50% if we were hitting 60, and that happened just earlier today. So shorts are probably pretty wary of this at this point. And that's really what I wanted to talk about with IRNT for today. I did just want to cover that and inform you guys of what was going on with it and let you know that it is an opportunity out there if you're interested in trading it. Obviously, this isn't financial advice, so you'll have to do that based off of your own risk tolerance. But that's what I have for you guys today. So thank you for watching. And if you would like to subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And liking the video would also be greatly appreciated. Other than that, have a great day, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.